do I do?
Just act natural.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Maybe I should be holding coffee cups.
Coffee cups? Do you want to do coffee cups? I think
Never
we should
mind,
do
you haven't
cups.
seen that. Never
Coffee
mind.
cups. You should get coffee cups and we can fill it full of water or vodka. Hey everybody, welcome out to the first ever, holy shit, it's video episode of the Untitled Mike and Laura Project. I am Mike the Fist of Justice Layman, and I'm joined with...
Laura, this is too much pressure, Thomas.
Yes, she is already freaking out, and we just started the show. I thought, because you were
I'm
like...
sure once we get going, I will figure out what I'm doing.
Because you were just like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? And
We
then,
got coffee cups.
bam, coffee cups. It's like Good Morning with Mike and Laura.
There you go.
The Untitled Morning Project.
I was going to say, but they're not watching in the morning, but then I realized they might be.
They could. They
Because
can
it's
watch it
not
whenever
live.
they want.
That
It
would
is...
be way too much pressure.
Yeah. What if this is live and we just never told you?
That's pretty mean.
Like, what if when I get to the end, I'll be like, we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for watching our live podcast. Would you just shit yourself?
No, I'd be like, I bet nobody watched it. Because you didn't advertise it.
Yeah. It would have been pretty shitty for me to do a live podcast and then not advertise it in any way, shape, or form. So. But here we are, doing the whole video thing in front of our DVD and video game collection. More in front of the DVD collection than anything. Like the Friends. The Friends is very obvious. The Friends. You see the Friends. And Futurama's in there too.
Yeah, we got some cool selections. You just can't see them where they are. We are.
Well, it's based on where we sat.
Yes.
You know, that's...
Hey, here's a question for you. Did you actually end up doing the quiz?
I did get a quiz together because last week we were talking about how normally after... Last week we talked about Resident Evil. Normally after an episode where we do Resident Evil or Metal Gear or something like that, we actually do a quiz where I quiz you on, you know,
See if I was paying
quizziness to
attention?
see if you were paying
I'm
attention.
going to admit I wasn't.
Oh, that's good. Then you're
painting my nails.
gonna do fantastic on this. But this morning I realized, oh shit, we're about to record the show and I don't have questions. So I very quickly listened to last week's show and got one of the cats is, you probably can't hear him at all, but he's over there.
Anyway,
They'll probably like jump up on the couch because they're little dicks.
No,
like
they're not
that.
going to because you said that.
No, well, we'll see. I'm sure you're probably gonna get up and
Quiz.
go get one at some point. Yeah, we will do a quiz.
When? You should do it first.
Not always. Sometimes we do the topic time first.
Topic is
Not the topic. You're fucking me up. The feedback.
Someone's
feedback.
too much pressure.
I could have done this without the coffee cup. You know what? I'm gonna do a coffee cup.
You're gonna knock it over.
No, I'm gonna put it over here and hope that I don't pull this mic off.
That's probably sexy.
Probably.
Anyway, what are we doing?
All right, so we're gonna do. Oh my God! It's a feedback attack. All right, so our first email, actually our only email for
We
this
got
show.
one feedback.
Well,
for the video podcast?
we're doing it a little earlier than normal, so chances are people, because we gotta edit it and make sure that it gets out on the same day as the real show.
Mm-hmm.
So just putting that out there that we could probably get more between the day that it goes up, but it won't be in time for the show, obviously, because we're recording it right now. Unless we get like a time machine, and before the end of the episode, I'll just stop. Anyway, so our email is from Vacuuminator. Hey guys, I don't have anything to say about last week's episode. Oh, well, that's great.
That's the feedback
That's great.
right there.
I just want to drop by and wish you a happy 50th episode, and since this is a video episode, I now request you make a silly face. That's it? That's the best you have?
Too much pressure too quickly.
Too much pressure? What if, like, I come back to you later? They're like, do you have a better silly face?
Is this silly? It hurts.
Well, that's sexy. That's what that is. Jeez. We should just turn this into a different type of show altogether.
Nope, forbidden.
Different type of video. Bam. Anyway, he asked if we made silly faces. So, did we? I guess so.
Yeah, I did. You didn't.
Well, it would have been funnier if you made the face.
You can make face. That's terrible. Anyway, continue.
Better than shit faces you made. Anyway, that's it. But if we get any other feedback, we'll obviously address that on episode 51. Sorry, guys, if you didn't get it in time to have it on the video podcast, but
It's not like
There
there's
you
going
go.
to be visuals for it.
Next time, we'll have like color forms on a board. And I'll be like, this is you in your email. And I'm pantomiming you in the email with color forms.
Anyway.
Pantomiming. This is the board. This is the color form.
You're doing a terrible job at this.
What?
It's a terrible pantomime.
Sorry. I wasn't aware that my
Get to the quiz. I'm
pantomiming
prepared
skills...
for the quiz.
You're prepared for the quiz.
prepared.
We'll see. You said earlier that you didn't pay attention.
I know.
So we'll see.
I'm prepared to fail. Still prepared.
You're prepared. Okay. Prepared to fail. Let's get it to it. Resident Evil quiz.
Is it like one question?
No.
Resident Evil.
All right, so you're ready for the quiz. Are you ready? You're ready to fail the quiz, you say. All right, question number 1. I'm using my handy-dandy BlackBerry device as the question machine here. All right, so now for those of you who don't know what the Resident Evil quiz is, last week we talked about Resident Evil. All of the questions are based off last week's episode. Not one of the answers was not in the episode, so it's fair. So basically, if you didn't pay attention, you fucked yourself. Okay?
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
question number 1. What month did Resident Evil 2 take place? Was it August, September, October, or November?
September.
Pretty confident, eh?
Yes.
That it's September?
Yes.
Okay, that was an easy one. It is September.
Yes.
It is September. All right, number 2.
I need the answer even before you gave me the answer.
How many different campaigns, so how many different versions of the story are there in Resident Evil 2? Is it A, 6, B, 5, C, 4, or D, 2?
6.
You said you weren't paying attention.
I paid attention at first.
Okay, so the once it gets further into it, you're going to start not getting these things.
That's what always happens, and you know it. I always get the first like 5 right.
Last time you got all of them right.
Yeah, because I'm the champ.
Right. All right, well, let's
watched
see.
the movie.
Let's see. That's not in the movie, though. Half of those questions weren't even in the movie.
That's
None
right,
of those
I had a
questions
point
were
of reference.
about the movie.
I had a point of reference.
All right, anyway. Number 3, what is the name of the little girl that Claire meets in her campaign? Is it A, Annette, B, Ada, C, Sherry, or D, Rebecca?
Sherry.
So you're going to go C, Sherry?
Yes.
C, Sherry?
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4. This is probably going to be the first one that you might get wrong, I'm thinking. This one's a little hard. Ada had a boyfriend who was in Resident Evil 1. He was a researcher. What was her boyfriend's name?
Okay.
Was it A, Wesker, B, John, C, William, or D, Matt?
John.
It's John.
Yes!
So that was a hard one. It's John. Fuck you. Anyway. Number 5. Who do Leon and Claire not encounter in their travels through Raccoon City? Is it A, Annette Birkin, B, Ben the reporter, C, Carlos the soldier, or D, the evil police chief?
I see. The answers aren't there.
Yes, they are. They're right there.
No, the answer... oh. No, I meant like the right answer you don't have listed. I'm gonna go...
I don't have the right answer listed?
You don't say which one is right, so it's not like I'm cheating, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
The dyslexia is coming.
I told you he'd show up because he's a little dick.
I'm gonna go Ben the reporter.
Ben the reporter is someone that you don't meet in Resident Evil 2. Leon meets Ben. Claire meets the evil police chief and Annette. They both meet Annette. And Carlos is who Jill meets in Resident Evil 3. So, sneaked ya.
You're a dick.
At least you had Dante trying to support you there, but it didn't work out.
He abandoned ship when he saw me failing.
He must have been. Number 6. How did the virus get spread around Raccoon City? Was it A, rats, B, birds, C, dogs, or D, it was an airborne virus?
I'm gonna go airborne virus.
You're gonna go that's wrong.
Fuck.
Rats spread the T virus around the city. Rats. Little with the teeth. Rats. Weird. All right, next up. Who is chasing Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3? Is it A, Wesker, B, Umbrella Operatives, C, Mr. X, or D, the Nemesis?
The Nemesis.
Why do you think it's the Nemesis?
Because it was the bigger, badder Mr. X.
On the nose. You're right. You got that one. Next up, who watches over Jill when she's been injected with the T virus? Is it A, Carlos, B, Nikolai, C, Leon, or D, Brad?
I'm going with that Carlos fella.
I kind of telegraphed Carlos by putting him in a different answer earlier. So yes, Carlos is the right answer.
If you had not have told me why that I gave you the wrong answer on that one, I wouldn't have got it there.
Probably. But
I would have said Nikolai, I think.
Nikolai, you think?
No, wait, Nikolai is a bad guy.
Nikolai is a bad guy.
I should get bonus points.
That's not one of the questions, though. So you don't get points for that. You still got those two wrong, I believe. All right, in the ending, where Jill is rescued by a helicopter, who flies the helicopter? Is it Barry, Brad, Chris, or Leon?
Going with Barry.
Barry, the dude with the beard?
Yes.
Barry is correct. All right. So you only
I got them like all right so far.
You got 2 wrong in a row.
I don't know what you're saying.
That's not all of them right, if I'm correct in this. It's 2 wrong is not all of them. Okay, don't fucking grab. The last question in the novel series, not even in the games. We talked about the books last week. All right, so it's fair game. In the novel series by Stephanie Daniel Perry, who is the character who ties everything together that does not even exist in the games at all? Remember, she had a character in the books that was like, this guy is the reason everything is happening, and that character is not in the games at all. Like, she threw that in and has nothing to do with the actual games. So the choices are A, Marcus, B, Trent, C, Nathan, or D, Duke.
I'm going with C, Nathan.
Going with Nathan? I just got an email. Trent is the correct answer. Trent. So she got all of them right, according to her logic, because she got a few wrong, but all of them right. So there we go. There's a quiz for you.
I tried my best. I should get points for that.
You get points for trying your best?
Yeah, that's like in the U.S. school system, right? No Laura left behind.
What?
Anyway.
Oh,
I think I aced that.
no, you got 3 wrong. That's 3 wrong. This many.
Are we talking about Batman now?
We're going to talk about Batman. All right, let's get into...
Batman now? It's Batman and Robin.
That's Batman and Robin.
But still, Batman.
Batman! Let's get into this week's topic. Holy shit, it's topic time.
What is there to say about Batman? He's the best. He just proves that being rich is the best superpower ever.
She's right. That's all we need to say. So we'll see you guys next week on the... No, wait, no. We should probably talk a little more about Batman. Because I know people want to hear our thoughts on the movie that just came out, but I think we should leave that to the end. Because you know how sensitive people can get about spoilers.
I think we should start with Batman. When he first started, Batman started...
We should start with Batman on our Batman topic? Is that what you're... I'm getting that, right?
Batman started in Detective Comics in the 1930s.
Now, you remember
And
what appearances was?
Detective 27.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Fuck. One just sold for $885,000, I believe I saw. Which is way more money than I think I'll ever have.
That's a lot of money.
And created by Bob Kane, who he was very, unlike the guys who did Superman, Bob Kane was very smart about Batman, and he rode those coattails hard for the rest of his life. He didn't really do much. Batman used to carry a gun.
Yes.
And was actually quite violent until the late 50s, early 60s.
I believe in his very first appearance, murdered a dude by stepping on his neck.
Yeah, he was badass. He just liked to. It wasn't until the Comics Authority came in that Batman became that more cartoony, possibly gay figure. Like there were inklings that people did have rumors about it, and that was one of the things they changed later. Is they actually created the first Batwoman to try and get rid of those rumors, and it didn't work out so well.
They kind of tried to
But Batman
make the
didn't
gay
become
go away.
Goofy until much later because he did start out quite dark, but they wanted it to become more of a family series because you couldn't get your comics published if you didn't pass the Comics Authority guidelines. So it wasn't even until the 80s that Batman started taking that darker turn with things like Killing Joke, Year One, Dark Knight Returns. He was a very lighthearted character with like the Adam West TV show until Frank Miller and Alan Moore in the 80s really started making him that Dark Knight again.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you are forgetting something, and if I don't bring this up, then everybody else will.
What?
Bill Finger, co-creator of Batman. Well, I'm just saying, kind of an important person in the history of Batman.
Everybody knows Bob Kane.
Everybody does know Bob Kane, but nobody knows Bill Finger, and that's the point, is people, as smart as Bob Kane was with his deal, unlike the creators of Superman, they kind of cut Finger out, and that's why no one knows who Finger is. That's why whenever you see anything with Batman in it, it says Batman created by Bob Kane, and not Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Yeah, well, like I said, he was a shrewd businessman. That's what he had going for him.
Like, there's a lot of major Batman points that are attributed to Bill Finger. Like, basically, if I remember correctly, if it was not for Bill Finger, Batman would have been a blonde dude without a mask. He would have had, like, a domino mask in a red costume with yellow wings.
Sexy.
And so it was Finger's idea to go with what they had kind of, the Batman look. And if I remember correctly, Finger is responsible for the Joker and a lot of the early rogues that, like...
Batman does have possibly the best rogues gallery there is.
I think the thing that's really great about his rogues gallery, too, is despite the fact that how silly some of them actually are, for the most part, all of them came from when he was created, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like Two-Face and Penguin and Catwoman and Joker, those all came at like the same time.
They're all like some of them are not quite out, but they are. These guys have been kicking it. They're so likable as people you hate that they've been around for 60, 70 years, which not many other comics can say. Of course, there's been new ones along the way that have come out. And the rogue gallery has just gotten better and better. Of course, there's been a few duds along the way, too. But no one else has such a strong gallery of bad guys that are not only just bad, but a lot of them are super plausible. I mean, an expert jewel thief and Catwoman who's got that dual, like, kind of anti-hero thing going on, possible love interest. Someone like Ra's al Ghul, where, like, it is sort of a plausible tale, even with
the Lazarus Pit?
If you do it like in the sense I thought they were gonna do in Dark Knight Rises, I think they could have pulled it off in the sense that like it's not so much like you're coming back from the dead, but like it's a place you go to heal from ridiculous injury. Like
that pit in Wanted where they're like, I'm
in
wax and now I'm a million times better.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of there's super doctors with medicine and surgery and like cybernetics.
So nothing like. It's just...
Not magic.
You're not magic. Okay.
No, not magic. But yeah, you get a lot of people who realistically you could see, doing these kinds of things. Look at the Joker. Like, someone who's that off the rails, we kind of saw this week that people are capable of terrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even crazy shit like Two-Face is still pretty plausible. Somebody...
They made it in the Nolan books, or in the Nolan movies, everything is if this was a real situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing supernatural about them. This is all stuff that could possibly... And Two-Face works.
Yeah.
Two-Face works brilliant in these books. books, movies. Why
Well,
do I
he
keep
works
saying
in the
books?
he works in the books too.
He works in the books too, but like that's what I mean. Like he works as a great character in a real Gotham, as he does in like a realistic Gotham, as he does in the ones that are a little more outlandish too.
I think a great place that they took really good advantage of Two-Face was in, I don't know if you can see it behind all the Friends DVDs, but we have Batman the Animated Series up there. And Batman the Animated Series, they did a really good job of building Dent up as Bruce's friend. Mm-hmm. Like, I've read the original Two-Face story, which is weird because they don't even call, his name isn't Dent. His name is Kent. His name is Harvey Kent. I don't recall, I did read a reason why they changed it, but in his first appearance, his name is Harvey Kent. And I don't recall there was a lot of, like, I mean, it was an old issue. Like, it was a reprint, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not like I was reading the ones up to that point, so I don't know. I can't really say how well he was built up as Kent beforehand. Mm-hmm. But in the show, he's in the first half of the season before there's even any Two-Face at all. He's in an episode like Poison Ivy poisons him, and it's a major part of the episode.
Yeah.
And his friendship with Bruce Wayne is like the crux of the episode. Like, that's what the stake is that he's got to save his friend.
Yep.
And then like 3 episodes later, his friend becomes the bad guy, and it was super awesome.
That's what makes Batman. Part of what makes Batman great is so much of it is believable and done in such a way it's not just, a guy with a mask or, a super powered mutant or something. This is all stuff that could actually happen. Do you have a favorite Batman villain?
I don't know. I'm actually pretty partial to Two-Face. I've always liked Two-Face.
I think I'd have to go. I always really, really enjoyed stories with Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
And Talia, too. Like, the whole Al Ghul family, or Ghul family. I'm not sure which one that would be. But they're just... Because it really plays with Batman's emotions and who he is. Because, like, they know who he is. And they've always known that he's, like... They're a very important part of Batman's history. But what his possible destiny might be one day. And, I mean, he ends up having a kid with Talia. Like, that's kind of important. Like,
yeah, whether he wanted it or not. Surprise!
Yeah, well,
your kid is a
happen.
ninja.
He's an assassin.
Sorry.
But, and then you get that whole, like, well, who does he really love? Is it Selena Kyle or Talia al Ghul? Like, which one will he go with one day? And I always do, like, as much as I love the Ra's al Ghul stuff, I always think that his heart truly belongs to Catwoman. Hands down, there's nothing else for him.
What about in that recent Catwoman comic where they like do it in their costumes mostly? Do you think that was sexy?
It was okay. I mean,
like
the guy who illustrates them, like, I don't know if you've seen
the issue 0 cover.
The issue 0 cover. It's even the artist. His name is I'm probably pronouncing his first name wrong. Guillem. It's Guillem. Guillem. I don't know. March does the art for it, and he did Gotham City Sirens as well, which Paul Dini started writing.
Yes.
And then didn't finish. But anyway.
Paul Dini also wrote this.
Well, yeah. It's a compilation of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, but he
did it's based off the animated series.
Yeah.
Anyway. He specifically said, I did some of the stuff I've done in the Catwoman book is specifically to see what they're going to let me get away with. And that issue 0 cover is beyond... This made me sad.
Okay.
When he, like, leaves the turtle.
Oh, that's fine. But,
anyway, he specifically says...
That makes you sad.
Yeah. That he's trying to see what DC will let him get away with. And because he's known for cheesecake, and he can pull off cheesecake well... It's just he's kind of at the point where he's like, come on, DC, like, give me some sort of, like, boundaries. This is kind of silly. Stop reading.
But Harley!
Everybody loves Harley, and as much as Harley is a fun character, people should not idolize a woman who cannot get out of an abusive relationship.
That's true. She's clearly that.
Like, she's had... Like, her best friend is Poison Ivy. in the whole world. Her best friend is Poison Ivy, who has literally taken her and been like, slapped her across the face and been like, Harley, for the love of God, he's just going to kill you. Get out. I will provide you a safe place. She's provided her a safe place away from the Joker,
right,
where he can't get to her, and she still goes running back to him all the time. And I can't get behind that.
Now, have you been following
Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. So she might be, free and clear for a while.
For now.
But she won't be. That's the thing. They always bring her back. And that's what the fans want, which is the worst part. The fans want her in this abusive relationship, and that makes me sad.
And now she's having his kid in a video game.
Well, there's that, too.
Spoiler. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's been out for a while.
What's your cup?
The cup is fine. Look at it. It's not moving.
Anyway.
It's not going anywhere. The cup's fine.
Now, what for you, what got you into Batman?
I think the first Batman-related thing that I ever got into was... I can't remember the issue number, but my parents got me a Batman comic. And I think they got it for me because they thought it'd be worth something. And I guess because it's a video podcast, I can pull a picture of the issue up and put it, like, right there. And, right in your face. Bam. So the issue was actually the first Tim Drake as Robin issue.
Okay.
And I think my parents got it for me because they thought, I think it was in the newspaper, and they thought it'd actually be worth something.
People do that.
Yeah, and of course, I was a kid, and I'm like, fucking Batman, I love this comic, and I, fucking tore it to pieces.
Yeah.
So it's not worth dick all. That's the thing. If you get something that you think is going to be worth money, don't give it to a child.
And the thing is, if someone tells you this comic is going to be worth something, it's not, because they're telling everyone, and then it's going to sell 800,000 copies, and then everybody's going to have a copy, and nobody's going to want to buy a copy.
Right.
Go ahead.
So anyway, that was probably the first time I ever read a Batman comic.
Okay.
And I was like, who's this mysterious man of bats? And then, I started reading other comics, and then that's, if you recall, on the X-Men episode, I started talking about... I started reading Marvel comics because Wolverine looked like Batman, and then after that I kind of went away from Batman until the Batman animated series showed up, and then it was like, oh, back to Batman.
Yeah, I would say it was actually, for me, the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
I remember being very little, and my parents watching that on our old shitty TV.
Right.
And not remembering the whole thing, but I remember watching it. And then I remember how excited my parents were when Batman Returns came out.
I remember Batman Returns. I remember the first thing I heard about Batman Returns was I had gotten a Batman comic, and it was Shadow of the Bat #1. And it was the first time I'd ever seen anything with Arkham Asylum in it, because the entire issue is about Batman being in Arkham Asylum. Mm-hmm. And I think it's actually the first appearance of Zaz.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, Zaz is...
No, I think it's the first appearance of Zaz. It was out around that time. No, she's getting my phone for Googling time.
Yeah, just in case.
But anyway, that issue on the back of it had a big picture of Michael Keaton Batman. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he returns. And that was like, what is this? Batman's returning?
Yeah,
in Batman 2? But it was Batman Returns. So.
But no, and I really like Catwoman in that, too. I really like the whole, and I remember seeing Christopher Walken in it, and knowing even as a kid, I was like, that's a scary man, but he's cool.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he was really cool. Like, the whole movie was really good, and I remember being with my mother and my aunt.
Do you want me to find that for you?
While I was walking around Mount Forest, which is where my aunt and uncle lived. And there was a little shop, and they actually had a Catwoman the size of a Barbie, and she was pure plastic. Her arms moved, and I think her waist moved, and that was it. And I had to have it. And my mother was like, fine, she caved. I probably did that, and cried, and had it, drag me down the street. So she finally just caved and bought it for me. You were right. Shadow of the Bat #1. Look at that.
Bam.
I thought you were older than that.
Double hotness. Right here.
What?
Oh, no. Stop that.
Anyway, and that was really my first idea of Batman, and then like the Batman animated series was on TV all the time. Like I'd get home from school and there it was on all the time. And sometimes it was like they did like every other day, like one was Batman, one was Superman, one was Batman. Superman freaking sucked. Batman was awesome. So
Clearly.
I watched Batman and not Superman because Superman. And every time I caved and would watch a Superman episode, it was the one with the freaking robot that at the end ends up at the bottom of the ocean.
Metallo?
Yeah.
That's Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, every time. And I was like, why? Why this episode? And even then, when I stopped watching Batman so much, and I just because like there's other cartoons to watch, and I'd be like, I want to watch Batman today. They come in. It was always the freaking gray ghost episode.
The gay ghost?
Gray.
It sounded like you said gay. You're gonna fuck up the mic. Don't
Anyway.
stab me in the ribs.
Anyway, but then when the other movies were coming out, I remember being excited about them and always being let down.
Yes. Now, did you know that, because you were talking about Christopher Walken in Batman Returns, did you know that Christopher Walken's character was originally supposed to be Harvey Dent?
What?
Yes, and like not so much that Christopher Walken was supposed to be Harvey Dent. At least I didn't say gay ghost.
I did, and I said gray.
Fuck you. Anyway, Christopher Walken, his character was supposed to be Harvey Dent's character. Not like Christopher Walken was supposed to be Harvey Dent, but the Shrek character, everything the Shrek character does was supposed to have been Harvey Dent. And I think they were supposed to bring back fucking Colt 45, gets them every time, Lando, Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in the original Tim Burton Batman as Harvey Dent. And he said it himself. He's like, the only reason I did that was so that I could play Two-Face later. And supposedly, the studio was like, you can't have Two-Face and you can't have too many, that's too many villains. You can't have Catwoman and Penguin and Two-Face. So then they changed it and they made it Shrek, and that's how Christopher Walken showed
too many
up.
villains. So that's a movie.
Spider-Man 3.
They get just, it comes convoluted when you try to throw so many villains in.
Right. And then, of course, they did bring Harvey Dent back as Two-Face, but it was Tommy Lee Jones, and they kind of treated him like he was the Joker.
Yeah. They treated everybody kind of like they were the Joker.
In the Schumacher movies?
Just in all, they really went with, I found, they tried to go for dark with adding comedy, and they didn't get that balance that it needs to be, and it ended up seeming to me like just cornball.
In the Burton or in
No,
all
Burton
of them?
movies are great. I meant
Okay,
the
so
later
you mean the
ones.
Schumacher movies? Okay.
Yeah, not the Burton ones.
Well,
Burton's
yeah, obviously
fucking
those
awesome.
things are fucking corny as shit. Like, fucking Eyes to See You.
Yeah. Awful, just horrendous.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. That's not even what killed the dinosaurs. Fuck you, Joel
Those feathery
Schumacher.
dinosaurs?
Shut up. No, we're not talking about feathery dinosaurs. You want to put me in the cooler?
You're a terrible Arnold.
Shut up. Do you do a better one?
No, I'm a girl.
Fuck, you don't even try. You won't even try. Yeah, no, those movies were shit.
Yeah, awful. Nipples. So, anyway.
I will admit that Nicole Kidman did look pretty goddamn hot. I'll give her that. She was in Batman Forever. She was Dr. Chase Meridian.
Oh my
And she
god,
had-
they went with like Bond names.
And she had like a fucking punching bag in her office.
I don't remember that.
And Batman showed up.
See,
Because
I
remember,
watched-
she was boxing, and he thought that she was being attacked, and he kicked the door in. And she's like, "What are you doing, Bruce Wayne?" And Val Kilmer's like, "I'm a bad Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry. George Clooney was worse, but I'm sorry."
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you prefer, though? Because, like...
What, out of
No,
them?
no. Let me...
Okay.
Finish.
Go, finish.
Bale Batman or Keaton Batman?
I like Bale's portrayal of Bruce Wayne better than Keaton's, but I think I gotta give the Batman portrayal to Keaton specifically because of the "No, I must have friends," like that fucking
No.
I'm the goddamn
I agree
shit.
completely 100%. This
Yes.
Batman is so much better.
Yes.
Keaton's. What really took me out, the one thing that really took me out of, and almost made me giggle,
Swear to me!
during Dark Knight Rises, like, it's a very serious movie.
Is it spoilery?
No.
Okay.
But when you see him as Batman, and he's kind of just standing there looking at someone, he's not like, I'm Batman. He's...
Yeah, he definitely does that.
And it's not
he's
even
full
like,
on like...
He's not even like, I'm glad there's a video so we can, like, he's not like, he's like... I was like, no, you gotta have the tongue sticking out too, because his tongue sticks out too, and his like lip is like curled.
I noticed he
in.
does it in Dark Knight as well.
He's like, "Ugh." And I'm like, and it's this like serious movie, and everything about this movie is so serious, and I'm like, I'm like, why is Batman a Dibley? That's all I could think, and I'm like, don't laugh. This is very serious. Don't laugh. Oh my god, this is so bad. That's the one that those movies are like Rotten Tomatoes. It deserves a 99% because of that's the 1% that takes away.
There's a part in the movie too where I can't even. Yeah, there's a scene I can't even remember what it is. Like who was talking or what they're talking.
Important.
There's a scene in the movie. And I think it's Commissioner Gordon talking to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is Blake, and Batman is just there. He's not fucking talking. It's Gordon and Blake talking, and Batman's over here. But the entire time he's just like
yeah,
it looked really dumb. Like and I don't think he says anything for the shot. He just shows up and he's. Your cell phone's going off.
I noticed.
You want to go get that?
Nobody calls me. You keep at it.
Stop. Anyway, brought up a great point. Our cameraman, he did. Our cameraman Graeme, our wonderful cameraman, who also gave us this bitch in the lapel mic and these hot as fuck lights. Adam West Batman. You making fun of my hands?
No, I'm making fun of your train of thought.
Adam West Batman. Your thoughts?
Ridiculous.
Vetusi.
Yeah.
100% pure West.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man, Adam Wee. That is the only funny thing to come out of Family Guy.
Adam Wee.
Or anything with Adam West.
All right.
It's good that he knows to make fun of himself.
Yeah. What do you think about like the villain portrayals on that show?
I remember one episode I watched at my grandparents' place where they dehydrated a bunch of henchmen.
Yes.
And rehydrated them in the Batcave.
Yeah. That was goddamn ridiculous. I do remember that. And then like he basically kills them by dehydrating them again, and then like vacuums them up, and then doesn't bring them back. So he fucking like kills.
I think it's a bunch of them too. If you put all that dust together and rehydrate, are you gonna get like a Brundlefly?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. If you just mix it all together, yeah, that would. You get Brundlefly henchman.
Oh.
He shows up and Batman's like, "Oh my god!" and he like grabs a shotgun and he's like, "Fucking Brundlefly."
That is very dark for Batman TV show.
That is very dark for the Adam West Batman TV show. What do you think about?
That's dark for the Nolan.
What
Batman.
do you think about Cesar Romero, Joker, and the fact that he was so committed to the role that he put face paint over his mustache?
That show's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's magic incarnate. What about the Batman porn based off the Batman TV show?
I've seen that. They actually did a very good job of doing the TV show. But they have in that, there's a DVD special feature where you watch it just like an episode, and they cut all the sex out. And apparently it's a very good episode.
Yeah, that's what I hear about. Like, the people who are, like, doing these porns are so committed to the actual, like, show that they want to, like, do it justice, which is awesome. Justice with fucking.
Justice fucking. I could do without the She-Hulk played by China in the Avengers
That's just
one.
sad, though. That depresses me. That doesn't turn me on.
Although thinking about Lexi Bell as Batgirl, yeah.
I don't know who Lexi Bell is.
She's hot. She's blonde. hot blonde.
Is she Stephanie Brown Batgirl?
No, she's supposed to be the Batgirl from the TV show.
Okay. Well, tell me, Mr. Laidman.
Yes.
Out of all the Batman stories you've read, because we own quite a few.
Yes.
Batman books.
Batman books.
What is your favorite Bat story? Batman specifically.
Batman
story
specifically.
that you have ever read.
It's gonna be cliche as fuck, because I'm sure everybody picks this goddamn book, but...
No, not everybody, trust me. It's not our most popular Batman one.
Really? Dark Knight Returns?
Nope.
No, I do enjoy Dark Knight Returns. It's just a really good Batman story.
It is.
And I think the fact that it's supposed to be like the last Batman story, you know, it just makes it have a little more impact. I do have to laugh. Oh, that's actually interesting. There's something like... I just saw something in here that's similar to Dark Knight Rises.
Oh.
We'll have to talk about that in the spoiler bit.
Okay.
But anyway, it's weird because like this story is so good, and
Yeah, continue.
there's so much hair. I'm sure you can see it on the camera flying through the air. This is supposed to be the beginning of the Frank Miller Batman universe, and in that world, he also put Year One, which is another awesome Batman story. But he also put in the sequel to this, which is goddamn
Frank
garbage.
Miller is an idiot and went off the rails.
Yeah, Dark Knight Strikes Again is
I
fucking
think it
terrible.
Strikes back.
No, it Strikes Again.
Oh yeah, it is Strikes Again.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's I bought it because it was like, it's a sequel and it's gonna be amazing, and it was shit. It was fucking shit.
You heard about Holy Terror?
I've heard Holy Terror is amazingly bad.
It is. It's Batman without Batman on racism. Like he's a super racist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole point of it was supposed to be Batman versus Al Qaeda, like ridiculously racist.
It was super racist and really poorly made.
There goes Kratos, but he left all his hair behind. But other things he's included in that universe: All-Star Batman and Robin, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read. This is where the goddamn Batman came from, and Batman calling people retards and smacking kids around. Like
Frank Miller went off the rails. Why does nobody else? People like he keeps putting stuff out, and thankfully with Holy Terror, people kind of went, "Wait a minute,
yeah,
I don't want to buy this just because it's Frank Miller. I don't want to buy this."
We should probably not put Batman's name on this. Like,
yeah, the DC was like, "Tell you what, we're gonna publish this under a different publisher."
Yeah.
And make sure there's no reference to him actually being Batman.
Right.
And ignore it ever happened.
And that girl is supposed to be Catwoman.
Yeah. And the art is just so atrocious and lazy. Lazy. Half the pages are blank.
Yeah. It's like, here's a giant page, and here's the one drawing on it that's like this big.
It's super lazy. It's atrocious.
Same question to you, though. Favorite Batman story?
I think, and I know I might get, like, smacked around for it, but it's actually the most recent pure Batman heart. Do I have it here? I don't think I actually have it here. I don't. I didn't grab it. Batman Court of Owls. From the New 52, the Scott Snyder Batman. I can't remember who drew it, but here.
You said you'd get smacked around, so
Not by you!
I just
Yeah.
fucking...
Court of
you
Owls
hit me
is
like 30 times
excellent.
harder than I did you, but whatever.
It's excellent.
Fuck it.
Don't pout.
I'm not pouting.
You're
Just
pouting.
say your fucking owl shit.
Very good Gotham story. It's a very good Batman story. It's a very good Bruce Wayne story. It's a very good detective story. It really encompasses all elements of what a good Batman story should be, and puts it together. New villains arise, but again, very realistic villains. And the first issue, when I read the first issue for the DC New 52s, I read all the DC New 52s when they came out, and Batman's didn't strike me as that great. You just needed to get into the story. It was like a slow burn, because it was getting you into Gotham, getting you into Bruce Wayne before it got you into Batman, the detective, and everything that came with that. And it is a very well-written story. At one point, because Batman gets caught and is descending into madness. And the book, as you read it, you actually have to start turning it to read it to make it make sense, because you're spiraling with Batman into madness, and it's very, very well done. It kind of very easily went straight to the top of my Batman best of list.
Right.
But still not my favorite Bat story.
What's your favorite Bat story? Because we all know that you're a big fan of the Stephanie Brown Batgirl and the current Batwoman.
Yes. Batwoman Elegy. Still going to be my favorite darker Bat story. She's an excellent character. Greg Rucka. No one knows how to write strong female characters like Greg Rucka, even most women writers. He does an amazing job. He gets it. Like, and not many other people do. And Batwoman is just an excellent, excellent story. And then the Stephanie Brown Batgirl series. It was about 27 issues long total, I believe. And just from start to finish is a really strong, fun book. And everybody should read it because it's super great.
There's so much cat hair on me from that, 30 seconds that Kratos was up here.
I'm sorry.
It's all your fault, Loki.
I don't have a Batman shirt.
I do, so I went full blown Batman.
I don't have a Bat shirt. I should, but I don't. I guess I don't buy it because everybody just expects it.
Possible. You're kind of like that when you're like, I don't like what you want me to think.
Yeah, I like to go against the mold.
All right, so other Batman stories you like?
Other stories I like that I would recommend. Everybody should read Hush.
Yep.
Really good look at the Rogues Gallery. The only issue is it's written by Jeff Loeb, who also wrote Long Halloween.
And Jeff Loeb went off the rails too.
Jeff Loeb definitely did go off the rails.
Jeff Loeb turned Wolverine into a werewolf. He's not like a mutant. He's a werewolf now. It's fucked up.
Jeff Loeb kind of, I don't know if his kid dying came first, but around the time his kid died, he went off the rails. But that'll screw up just about anybody. Hush is great because it includes the whole Rogues Gallery.
And Superman.
But the thing is, he kind of already did a lot of that with the Long Halloween.
That's true.
It's kind of the same idea of a story, is that he has to investigate all his rogues to figure out who done it. But now, here's the thing. Jim Lee art...
Oh, that's right. You hate Jim Lee.
I don't hate Jim Lee. I just don't know why...
You're like, what the fuck? Why does anyone care so much
why
about
does everybody
Jim
suck
Lee?
his dick?
Why is Jim Lee like,
No, Jim Lee isn't like this. People are like,
Why is everyone like, Jim Lee?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I like Jim Lee.
Yeah, but let me just... it's not bad, but it's not the end-all, be-all. It's very 90s. It's still... He's evolved a bit, but it's still very 90s art. I just... it's super line-heavy.
Well, that's the inker and stuff.
No, that's Jim Lee art. It's always like that. It doesn't matter who's inking it. It's always like that. So, I don't know. I just can't get behind it.
I noticed. I don't know.
No, it's not bad. I just can't get behind it.
I don't know, though. You pull a Gen 13 comic out from, the 90s. I don't think it looks the same as...
No, I said he's evolved a bit, but it still has that 90s flair. And
all right.
As much as I love everything 90s, I don't like that.
Right.
Because comics were bad in the 90s. They were really bad.
Not all of them.
Name me a good comic from the 90s.
Kingdom Come. That was in the 90s.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's Alex Ross, though, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
How does that not count?
Alex Ross makes it not count.
Because it's Alex Ross?
Yes, because he's so great.
He didn't write it, though.
He did the art.
So?
It doesn't look like it's from the 90s.
But it's still from the 90s.
Everything sucks.
Sorry. I'm glad that my example that worked your criteria doesn't fit your criteria.
Did you see how long it took you to think of it, though?
I still thought of something.
Anyway.
Do you think it's time that we get into spoiler territory and we talk about the Dark Knight trilogy?
I think we should, we kind of touched on Nolan's Batman.
Well, hold on. We got a video podcast here, so we can do a big, awesome, flashing red spoilers.
Can the spoilers come out of my eyes?
Now you're just making it, too much work.
Star Swipe. Spoilers.
We'll see.
It will now.
It will now, he says. So, spoilers. Wacky. Okay, so you were saying.
Are we talking just about Dark Knight Rises?
Well, hold on, just really quick.
Do you want to?
Well, I mean, obviously, if we're going to talk about Dark Knight Rises, there's got to be some discussion of the other movies.
That's all you need to know.
That's all. Just it. That's the discussion from the first two movie discussion is.
But the thing is Batman portrayal.
Batman
portrayal between from movie 1 to movie 3, it goes from to that's the progression.
All right. Well, anyway, if you stick around for the spoiler bit, it's gonna be when it fucking shoots out of her eyes again. But if anyone is not sticking around for the spoiler bit, thanks for listening. We always say thanks for watching when it's audio only, and when it's actually video, we say thanks for listening. That makes sense.
It's not my fault you're dumb.
Anyway, if you're just listening, fuck, I did it again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week on the regular show, back in regular 1D. I don't know. Well, you can't see it. It's not going to be in front of your fucking face.
Thank you for watching.
And spoiler time. Out of her eyes. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the movie is excellent. You see a lot of tip of the hats to if you're a big Batman fan. There's a lot of stuff you're going to catch that they don't necessarily go into. Like there's lots of rumors about John Blake being possibly a boy wonder of sorts. And
why are you being? We're in spoiler town. We can just fucking say it.
Our cameraman still hasn't seen it.
He said he didn't care.
I'm okay with that.
He says he doesn't care.
Anyway,
if he cared, he could go in the other room and go on the computer for like half an hour.
I can plug the headphones in the iPod.
Oh, there you go. He can do that.
Anyway, he's
doesn't
not
care. He's
actually
fine.
Robin, but it's revealed that, his name
Is Robin.
is actually Robin.
Yes.
So it's again, tip of the hat,
Mm-hmm.
to the people who thought that. Now, the one thing that, one of my biggest fears was, because people kept talking about spoilers, was, things getting revealed is that someone important was going to die. And so I assumed it was either going to be Gordon,
Right.
Alfred, or Fox.
Right.
I thought one of those three guys was going to die, and there's a scene in the hospital where even when it was okay, he's okay, I was like, oh, thank God, because I thought he was going to die.
Right. This is Gordon.
Yeah, Jim Gordon, I thought he was going to die, and I was like, no, not Gary Oldman. Anyway.
What's the last movie? He could have died, and you could have been not sad for him.
I would have been sad, and there's a couple scenes where Alfred kind of gets a little teary, and
He does.
I'm like, oh no, Alfred.
Alfred, it's very weird, because in, every other portrayal of Batman ever, Alfred's been like, yes, you're Batman, yes, I'll do what I need to do because you're Batman. But fucking, in this, out of nowhere, Michael Caine is just like, I said to your parents, I don't have a good accent for Michael Caine. I said,
kind of sound like Michael Caine if he was doing this.
Never. I won't bury you, sir. There's a shark chasing you when I'm in a plane.
I think it's a more realistic portrayal of what Alfred really would be
yeah.
like.
But it was
imagine
interesting.
Raising this child whose parents have been murdered since he was an infant as basically your own, and he keeps disappearing and coming in and out of your life, and he's doing you'd probably be a little on the sir, for the love of God, I'm gonna try and talk some sense into you, even if it makes me cry.
Tranquilizer dart in the back, and then you time down, and you're like, sir, I'm not going to let you be Batman anymore.
Stop. But I was really afraid someone was gonna die, but it turned out that any spoiler that I would have had to be trying to avoid, I figured out before I'd seen the movie.
Right.
The easiest one was Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
I knew the moment Marion Cotillard was cast, she was going to be Talia. Didn't matter who she was credited as. And it's funny, we got Batman Hero Clicks in
Yeah.
at work, and some people were buying them and opening them, and Catwoman came out, and her point value was 80. Pretty good. 80's pretty high. Batman's like 90, so pretty good.
Right.
But Miranda Tate's little figure was like a 75, and it's like I already knew, but that was like Miranda Tate, if she's just some businesswoman, would be like a 2.
Right.
She's just below Catwoman in fighting power. Bitch is Talia. Like, that just was like the nail in the Talia coffin right there. There's one scene, Raish actually, but they still call him Roz.
Yeah, they still
Raish
call by the
shows
wrong
up,
pronunciation of his name.
But he like fades away, and I just really wish that they had it like, oh, camera turn. Oh no, he's not there anymore. Was it a dream? Was he really there?
Yeah, they full on are
We'll
like,
never know.
yeah, they fade him away, and he's like, oh, it was a dream. Okay. I think it would have been a lot better if it was like, was that a dream? Considering like the end of Inception, you would think that Christopher Nolan would be like, I'm going to go the ambiguous route.
Part of me thinks that some things like that were like studio involvement, because Nolan isn't one to just be like, here's the answer. Boom. Get off the phone. Anyway.
It might be important. You took a call from a telemarketer.
It could have been my parents.
But it wasn't.
Anyway. Trying to think about... What did you think? Now, a lot of people going in were like, Anne Hathaway is Catwoman. She looks like shit. She's going to do a bad job. Anne Hathaway, I want Princess Diaries in my movie. What did you think of Anne Hathaway?
You're going to breathe through your nose a little more when you say that?
Anne
Hathaway. Sorry.
What did you think of Anne Hathaway?
I don't know. I thought she did a pretty good job.
I thought she did a great job.
My only problem with her as Catwoman was I said this to you, and you were just like, what? You're stupid. And I'm like, considering it's you, I'm surprised. She doesn't have a cat. Like...
yeah, there is a scene that shows her in her apartment, and there's never a moment where it would have been good if there's just like in the background a cat jumped up.
Yeah, like nobody actually calls her Catwoman in the movie.
Yeah. Her name's Selena Kyle.
Yeah, they call her Selena Kyle, and there's references in the newspaper to a cat burglar, but nobody once looks at her and goes, Catwoman, or you're Catwoman,
They
or
reference
Aaron.
her the cat burglar.
Yeah.
You know, like her. She got like the goggle ears, which do work. I
Yeah.
mean, they work pretty well.
It reminds me of the Julie Newmar bit a bit.
I like that she had that dueling. Should I stay and help or help myself?
Yeah, because they did that in Arkham City really well too.
Yeah, like because she's very much like she's looking out for her own good, but at the same time she cannot let Batman go.
Yeah.
She just can't leave him on his own. Every time she's like, and you see this in the comics, you see this in the games. It's like, oh, you know, Batman's gonna get murdered. Whatever, I gotta go look out for my own hide. God damn it! All right, I'll go help him. You know, like I can't just walk away from him. He's,
Right.
he's my soulmate. Fuck Talia. He does fuck Talia.
He does fuck Talia, yeah.
And that's why, like, I was surprised to see at the end where she was still... Because, yeah, they did this. Like, I know Nolan says he's not going to do another super movie again. But, like, every movie, it seemed like they skip it forward years. And it's like...
Yeah, it was 8 years between this one and Dark Knight.
Like, who's to say another 8 years can't pass? And it's like, oh, Talia lived. And surprise, here's Damian. And, you know, John Blake has taken up the mantle of, like, Nightwing in your stead. Like, here you go. Like, Nolan says he's not going to do another superhero movie again, but really, there's no superhero in this movie. If Batman is just a normal guy,
He's a vigilante.
then maybe Nolan's just dicking us around.
That cockmaster. Shit-faced cockmaster.
What would you, out of a score of 100%, what would you have given this movie?
I don't know. I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't like... I don't want to get Rotten Tomatoed. You know?
I don't want to get murdered.
Like, I'm not saying it was bad or anything. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's as good as Dark Knight was.
It was different. in
Yeah.
Dark Knight. That's the thing. It is a very different. Like I said, it's more of a Gotham story than it is
Yeah.
a Batman story.
I also found it to be a lot like a little more hopey.
There was
Like there was more hope. Like the Joker one was just kind of like, wow, this is really depressing, you know.
Yeah.
But the hope is actually one of the themes of the movie.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it kind of...
It's not just that the Dark Knight rises, but Gotham rises.
Everybody rises. Even Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Alfred doesn't... I don't know.
No, he does. He kind of, in his own way.
The one thing, though, that they did with Alfred was he has a speech at the beginning of... Like, not at the beginning, but early on in the movie, where he says, like... his dream was always, like, when he originally disappeared back in Batman Begins, was that he would go to this cafe in, like, France. And his dream was that he would just see him at the cafe and be like...
Alfred would see Bruce Wayne.
He'd see Bruce Wayne, and they'd be like, mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, they'd be like, I see him, he sees me, we go on our way. We just give each other, like, a, everything's okay, wink, you know? And as soon as that scene happened, the fact that they showed... Like, it cut to him going to those places and being like, oh, that's not him. Then I'm like, the last scene in the movie is going to be that. Like,
There are, like, anything spoilery, you figure out. Like, it's not like you're like, oh, shit, you know, like, I've been spoiled, but you can figure out most of the twists.
I did.
I almost like them rather than, oh, what a twist.
Yeah.
You know?
I totally dumbed myself out. Like,
Oh, my
despite
God,
the fact...
so did.
Despite the fact that I know the history of the characters in the comics and stuff, there was a part where I was just like, oh, that's what they're doing with Bane? Okay. And then it was like, oh, wait, that was Talia they were talking about. I'm an idiot. Like,
yeah, right from, I was like, oh, wait, uh-oh.
yeah, because there's a bit where they talk about a kid in a prison who's the son of a mercenary, or like the child of a mercenary. And I'm like, oh, Bane's the mercenary. But the mercenary's going to be Ra's al Ghul. Are they saying the Bane is going to be Ra's al Ghul's kid? But Talia's his kid, so he's going to have two kids in this movie? When's he have the other kid? That's weird. And meanwhile, it never occurred to me at all that the kid was the fucking kid that he has. Like, I was like, when's he have the other kid? Not oh, that's the one kid that he had. Like...
Yeah, I figured it out pretty quick. For a split second, I was like, oh, they're going... Oh, wait, no, they're not.
Yeah.
That was in my head. I'm like, no, that's
No.
Talia.
I until they actually did the reveal, like not until, but right before, I'm like, oh wait, I'm an idiot.
So
I don't know.
wrap this baby up.
Probably. Any other final thoughts about Dark Knight and your butt?
Awesome. I really enjoyed it. I would watch it again. It does feel long. It's like 4 hours or something.
It was
ridiculous.
like 2:45.
Yeah, it does feel long, but not in a bad way.
Right. I'm watching Kratos flop around on the floor.
Anyway,
Anyway,
shall we wrap this up?
I think so. So thank you, everybody. 50
Thank
episodes.
you, especially to our cameraman Graeme
Yes.
for doing this for us.
We're gonna get a super special plaque that you're gonna make because you're the guy making the video.
We gotta have it like, you know, like he's like
What?
the
Like
picture.
special thanks to
No,
neither
just-
of these two.
Yeah, no, not you, but like just, you know, like
We'll just put him in.
it's almost like an in memorial, like.
Oh, I see. We can put him in the credits or something, doing card tricks. Maybe.
Anyway,
That's
thank
gonna do
you
it.
very much.
Thank you very much once
And
again.
thank you for everybody who actually watches.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Because you can listen to it online as well. So if you're hearing this and you're hearing us talk about, like, if you listen to this through iTunes the way you normally would, and you didn't hear last week's show and we said we were going to do a video podcast, you're probably like, why do they keep making all these references to being a video? If you go to thisweekingeek.net, you can see...
If they haven't figured it out by now, they're not very smart.
That's true, but I'm throwing that out there just because. But yeah, these lights are hot as shit, so we need to get out of here.
We did
So
watch the air conditioner back.
we'll talk to you guys next week. Next week, we'll probably be talking about post-con Bravo time. That's good? Yes? Anyway, for this week's episode, I have been Mike the Fist of Justice Laban.
And Laura, I did better than I thought I would. Thomas.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
You Batman. Dante, get your ass off the table.
Dante! You fuck. That's right.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I pulled it off.